this week's episode of One Punch Man, Saitama fights the forces of evil in order to keep his rank and be a part of the Heroes Association. This episode was so freaking great because there were so many ridiculous characters introduced. There was Tornado, the creepy psychic girl. There was Watchdog-Man, who seems like he's like Saitama's cousin or something, this really powerful guy in a dog suit. You had Spring Mustachio and Golden Ball. And how can I forget Tank Top Tiger? This guy sounds like an 80s wrestler, and he kind of looks like one too. His tank top has these tiger markings all over it, so does his hair, and he gets swiftly defeated by Sonic and his explosive shurikens. And the stakes have officially been raised for Saitama as he learns in order to keep his rank and to be a member of the Heroes Association, he's going to have to stop one crime a week. And that ends up being a real chore for him. One, because he's kind of lazy, and two, because he's just really not that great of a hero. He's just really powerful. But luckily for him, he actually ends up running into Sonic in a very casual setting. But Sonic still ends up fighting him in the middle of the streets, and this scene is pretty freaking great. Just more amazing action from the series. I think we can all agree that one of the best parts of this episode was seeing Saitama literally destroy Sonic's sword just by biting it. This ends up being the perfect opportunity for Saitama, however, because Sonic technically is a villain, and he's actually destroying a lot of things around him, so he's causing a lot of collateral damage, so Saitama takes him out by knocking him out and sending his ass right into the dirt. This actually allows his rank to go up a little bit, so good news for Saitama. But the rest of the episode focuses on a lot of brand new characters. First, there's the character of Tornado. That's what they call this weird psychic girl who floats around, who seems to be incredibly powerful. She has a really cool design. I especially love the glowing green effect of her hair in the dark. It looks really cool and creepy. We get to learn about a few of the other heroes. There's this guy Watchdog-Man who's in charge of City Q, which has an abnormally high rate of monsters attacking it. But Watchdog-Man manages to destroy all of them, and his costume is basically just a guy like in a dog suit with his face popping out. But he has a very similar expression to Saitama. So similar, in fact, that he might even have like a similar power or the same strength. I can't wait to learn more about this character. Maybe he's just going to be another joke, I'm not sure. But they put a lot of emphasis on him, so I imagine he's going to be pretty important. And then we have this scene where there's this monster in City Z, which is this weird sort of like seaweed monster. So the Heroes Association sends two of its agents, these two A-rank guys, and there's this one guy named Golden Ball who literally just uses a slingshot. And then there is Spring Mustachio! What an amazingly fun name to say. This guy is hilarious too. He looks like a 1930s boxer. Except that instead of gloves, he uses this sword which can actually coil up, fire like a gun. It's pretty freaking great and it leads to an amazing action sequence. Golden Ball unfortunately gets taken out pretty quick, but Spring Mustachio is definitely the highlight of this action scene. He does get defeated as well, and luckily Saitama just arrives to destroy this thing in one amazingly destructive punch. This massive punch causes a lot of destruction, which definitely causes the attention of a lot of the other local heroes. I love that we're getting to start to see a lot of these guys too, because there's so much room for expansion in this series. Saitama is the main character, but because he's so powerful, his fights end so quickly, so I'm glad that he's sort of like the glue that's sort of holding everything together. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Punch Man? Another incredibly exciting and hilarious episode of the series. This is one that was definitely a little more on the comedy side, but I still really appreciated it. There were some amazing action scenes as well. I love that we're going to occasionally probably get to see the return of Sonic. Now that he's been captured, he's probably going to be locked up for a little bit, but I imagine we're going to see that character again. It seems like he's trying to like build this rivalry with Saitama, which unfortunately just goes nowhere, because Saitama just destroys everything in his path. A lot of the humor in the episode, though, definitely comes from more of the interactions from Saitama and Genos, like how Saitama actually got Genos off of his back by basically saying, look, first part of your training is try to get in the top 10 of S-Class. This way I don't have to deal with you. He doesn't say it like that, but of course he dresses it up and tries to make it look all heroic, and it actually does work. It's kind of funny because Genos is a very naive character. He's just sort of enamored by how powerful Saitama is. This makes the relationship incredibly funny. There was also just a ton of characters who were introduced in this episode, and they are all really unique in their own special way, and a lot of them have amazing names like Spring Mustachio. I just wanted an excuse to say Spring Mustachio's name again. I love that name, Spring Mustachio! I don't know what it is. It's just so fun and hilarious. It's characters like that that are really going to make this series incredibly memorable. It's also worth noting that the action scenes, again, look pretty frickin' great. Sonic vs. Saitama was fantastic. Spring and frickin' Golden Ball fighting against the weird kelp monster thing, that was pretty cool. The design of that creature was also really nasty because it took a long time before you could actually see its face, which was just all black with these big bulging eyes and these creepy drool coming out of its mouth, just real disturbing. I love the monster designs in the series because there doesn't seem to be any rule for them. They can just do pretty much whatever they want, and that just leads to the possibilities of this show. They can do anything with it. It's fantastic. This is another great episode of One Punch Man. So far, for me, this has been a perfect anime experience. Every episode I've given a perfect score to, and I'm going to do that again for this one. I really loved it. It was just fun, lots of new characters building on the world, just a lot of amazing, memorable moments, and lots of new characters to become attached to. And it does so with amazing production value and just a lot of attention to detail, and still just, the series just works. Simple as that. 5 out of 5. I loved it. You should definitely check it out. If you're a One Punch Man manga fan, you've probably already watched it, and you definitely should because it's really great. When they stop the anime version, I might go on to the manga version because I'm really intrigued to see where the story is going. But I want to see how far they're going to go with the anime. I've been told that it's only going to be 12 episodes, but there's a possibility we might get some more seasons in the future. I think that would be fantastic, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But for the time being, I'm just going to kick back and relax and watch this amazing action anime series. Check it out, guys. Great stuff. Before you guys leave today, though, if you did watch this week's episode of One Punch Man, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you have a favorite moment, a favorite new character who showed up? What do you want to see from the rest of the series? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.